Hello, everyone. Welcome to CXO Spice. CXO Spice is a platform for thought leaders to share their point of view on innovation and explain how to make it happen in real world. Today's topic is Cloud Smart. Our special guest is Vittorio Viarengo, Vice President of CrossCloud Services at VMware. Hi, Vittorio. Welcome to CXO Spice. By the way, I really enjoy the VMware Cloud Anthem. You're quite an artist.
Down a multi-cloud way, a winning architecture for whatever comes your way. Yeah, but it's gonna make it happen. Any app, any cloud with swag. Run on top of the hyperscalers. With your boss you can brag.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the compliment. Yeah, whatever allows us to get the word out, I use it. Whether it's music, a presentation, or a great podcast like this one.
So share with us what led you to VMware and your current role. And what is your responsibility as a VP of MultiCloud Services at VMware?
I've been with VMware on and off for 14 years. So I was here in 2009 through the virtualization journey days and software-defined data center. Then I did a couple of cloud startup, and then I came back 3 years ago to help project the company into this multi-cloud world. And right now I'm responsible for VMware CrossCloud Services, which is the foundational technologies that we believe is going to be the foundation, the technology foundation for the third act of VMware to become a leader in this multi-cloud world.
Well, third time is a charm, right? That's what they say. Congratulations on a successful VM Explorer event. It was a unique event and a gathering of tribes for the multi-cloud community. I walked away more educated about how to shift from cloud chaos to cloud smart. What are your key takeaways from the event?
First of all, it was fantastic to meet face-to-face with our customers. Goes without saying. You probably felt the energy of our customers over the last 20 years. We really developed and delivered technologies that changed the landscape of the industry and made a lot of people's career. And so to me, going to Explore, formerly known as VMworld, is sharing that almost religious experience that our customers have when they come to hear the latest and greatest about where we think the industry is going and what we're doing there, but also to get educated and do the hands-on labs that really helps further their career. And it was fantastic to be able to do it again in person.
Absolutely. I definitely echo that. So before we dive into our discussion of Cloud Smart, let's talk about the evolution of cloud. What evolution have you seen in the past 5 to 10 years and the role VMware has played?
What we see with our customers is that initially cloud was about innovation, and it was a little bit of a Wild West, right? In my experience, developers drive innovation and run the show. And then the entire IT ecosystem, the technology stack, the operation team, the security team comes afterwards trying to support where the developers are going. And there is no question that the cloud has been the place where developers have found the path of least resistance for fast innovation. Mm-hmm. And so initially, most customers go in and go, we're going to be cloud first because the developers are being very productive there. They're building applications that are allowing us to grow faster or save us money. And so they go there. But with that, what happens is that because developers choose different platform for their innovation, whether it's AWS initially, but then Azure coming strong, Google, of course, but also now the enterprise players like IBM and Oracle are growing very fast in the cloud. And so what happens, we find customers end up with what we call cloud chaos, where everybody is using across multiple business units, are using multiple stacks, And with that comes the complexity. So initially there was a lot of innovation. Let's go fast. Let's create new digital experiences. Now they're dealing with the complexity of having multiple clouds, each of which bring their own way of building applications, their own way of managing application, their own way of securing application and infrastructure. And so now I think customers are ready to look at a solution to move from cloud chaos to cloud smart, when they can look at any cloud as a place. Basically, they can choose any cloud that is best for their apps without incurring in the complexity and the cost.
Well, at the end of the day, it's about choice and flexibility. So thanks for offering that to the developer community, to the enterprise architecture, as well as the customers, right? I noticed that VM Explorer brought many innovators and partners to the VM Explorer event. To name a few of my customers, IBM, Microsoft, Dell Technologies, how has the cloud ecosystem evolved in the past few years?
I think it's evolving with us, right? If you look at our evolution as a company, we had a tremendous innovation journey with virtualization and the software-defined data center. And what we did there was create a level of abstraction that allowed our customers to look at all their hardware, all their storage and network as one, pool resources, and allow them to go faster and save money. And so in that area, we developed relationship with the Dell and IBMs and HP and NetApp and all these hardware vendors, and then system integrators on top. As the company, as we evolve in this multi-cloud world, in multi-cloud, we believe that the key to simplification is once again abstraction. But it's abstraction not at the hypervisor level, but at a higher level of abstraction, which is using the lingua franca of cloud, which is APIs, Kubernetes, microservices. And so over there, we're developing a new ecosystem is developing southbound with the hyperscalers, right? So AWS, Google, Microsoft, IBM, Oracle, Alibaba, we have co-development relationship with all of them, which is very unique in the market.
Yes.
And then above, we are developing a relationship with system integrators as well as software ISVs that are building to our APIs so that once again, they can leverage our platform to develop solutions that work across all clouds.
Wow, that would be a dream for any developers.
Yeah, I think the developers are ready, and operators especially are ready to get some simplification because it's just not sustainable. You cannot. I'll give you an example. Explorer, I hosted a roundtable with a bunch of banks, and I saw the entire spectrum of that cloud multi-cloud journey. The company is saying is in denial, and I say, oh, we're just on-prem and Azure. And I said, okay, great. Then I moved to the next one and said, well. The business units are using AWS, and we just bought a company using Google, something, okay, so you are already in 4 clouds, but you're still in denial of the challenges. Then I go to the next one. The next one is telling me, oh, yeah, we have applications now deployed on all these clouds, and we're building our own management tool to manage them. So I'm thinking, okay, this person, I realized the problem, and they're going at it the wrong way, which is building the stuff that we and other companies out there are building to help manage across cloud. And then the third one is S&P Global. S&P Global is like, yep, we've been down the cloud first path. Now we're cloud chaos, and now we're using VMware to get in front of the developers, allowing them the choice and flexibility to use any cloud they want. But we as a operation team have the ability to manage and lifecycle manage the application through one console. And so that's kind of the spectrum of our customers. I think S&P Global is an example of a customer that's seen the problem and started to do something about it.
Think about being digital smart today is on top of minds for every company, regardless of size. I've seen three priorities, right? One is accelerate the velocity of innovation cross business. Two is to invest in the next generation of automation to move faster. Three is very important to deliver this next leap forward in employee engagement and productivity. You talk about SMB Global, you talk about a few other customer success stories. Do you have a success stories around how to really achieve VMware enabled to achieve the digital acceleration, especially from employee and productivity perspective?
There are a couple that comes to mind of the hundreds and hundreds that we have. I would say Home Depot is a great example. If you think about any modern application has become a software company. And I, for one, choose the places where I go and engage online and in the store based on that digital experience that they give me. So often when I do a renovation at home or some DIY project, I go online to their site, I look up what I need, I click it, I get a text message with the aisle and the store where I can find it. When I get into the store, I open their apps, it guides me to the place. And then if I need some help, I engage with somebody there that works there. They have their mobile device and they have all the information at their fingertips. So the whole digital experience has been built using one of our CrossCloud services, which is Tanzu, Tanzu application platform. And so that's an example of a company that is brick and mortar by definition, but they have reimagined the experience that they give to their employees and their customers through a digital experience using modern apps, utilizing Tanzu. The second one that I like to mention, because look, in IT, nothing ever goes away. And so these enterprise applications that we have on-prem, they're still running on our business, they're not going away. And so we see customers, they're modernizing in place. And some customers, like this example is Guide One, is an insurance company.
Yep.
And they decided that they wanted to go, especially with the pandemic, it was hard for them to procure hardware and getting switches and servers and stuff. And so they decided to go to the cloud. And they used one of our CrossCloud services, which is VMware Cloud, to basically move 800 enterprise applications to the cloud in 3 months.
Wow.
So there are a lot of companies that are going cloud first, and then they thought, oh, we're going to move to the cloud and move their enterprise applications. And years later, they're still moving 1 or 2 applications because they have to refactor them. With VMware Cloud, which is one of our CrossCloud services, companies like Guide One move hundreds of applications in a matter of months without downtime.
Wow, that's impressive because having worked in an insurance company myself, I haven't worked for how much of effort it involves.
Yeah, and with VMware Cloud, you don't have to refactor the application because we now run VMware Cloud on all the hyperscaler, and so you have the same environment on both sides. So you can literally vMotion your applications from on-prem to the cloud and start to then modernize your environment in the cloud if you so choose, without refactoring and without downtime, which is very, very powerful.
Wow, that's a great segue for our next question, right? What does a typical customer journey to the cloud look like? What is the different focus as they go through each stage of their journey?
I think initially it's just innovation. They want to go fast and innovate and build new application, new digital experience. Then I think once they end up with what we call the cloud chaos and they have multiple environments, then I say, okay, now we need to start to operate this at the cost and scale that makes sense for the enterprise, so they can be profitable also and manage the complexity. And so that's where they're looking at not just VMware. There are, I think, I just spent some quality time with some venture capitals, most of them former VMware, by the way, like Jerry Chang or Steve Harrod. And I asked them, where do you guys invest these days? And every example that they gave me was a cross-cloud service example, like whether it's an HashiCorp or a Snowflake. So there is no question that going forward, the customers will need a level of abstraction that simplifies the environment, and so that they can become cloud smart and just use whatever cloud their apps needs. VMware differentiated approach is that all these great companies out there are bringing point solution to solve the multi-cloud problem, whether it's security or management or application development. We believe we are the only company that has the vision and the relationship in the marketplace and the muscles, the investment to be able to bring a platform approach that covers application development, management, operations, and security in one platform that works across all clouds. And that's where we believe that will enable our customers to achieve the third phase of their journey, which is we call Cloud Smart.
Excellent. Well, most of the enterprises I work with feel that they're not moving fast enough, right? As a matter of fact, the CIO describes this current era as the great replatforming of the enterprise. What are the key roadblocks for the great replatforming?
I think some of the things that we touched upon is one, is skill set. Because when you go to the cloud, things are done differently. I mean, the way you build applications using containers and Kubernetes and the DevOps and platform engineering teams working side by side with security to deploy applications every day or multiple times a day compared to months in the past. The second one is the fact that the moment you have two or more clouds, one of which is your on-prem, your complexity grows exponentially. So I think that's the complexity is the second one. And related to it is the cost. So I think, the skills, the complexity of multiple environment and the cost related to it are the biggest obstacle that today for customers to achieve multi-cloud at scale at a reasonable cost.
That's also an opportunity, right, for companies to rethink and reshape the core operations that can propel their business.
Absolutely. I think like in any transformation, people are the key. And what I always tell customers, one, pamper your developers.
Yeah.
I live in Silicon Valley, right? I work for VMware, and the one thing that we know is that developers make the world go round. And so recruit, retain, and pamper those developers, and then retrain your operation and security teams to catch up to where the developers are, so that you don't drag down your development process and you adopt things like platform engineering, platform operations, and security in the multi-cloud world, so that you can become a facilitator of the development process and not hindering that process.
Those are great advices. Thank you. And what strategies do companies need to have in place to become cloud smart?
First of all, they need to have a good assessment of where they are in their journey, right? So like the customers that we talked about earlier, that they think they standardized on-prem and Azure, but then he also says, well, we have another two clouds out there. Well, just get in front of that. Understand where the developers are getting the best bang for the buck, and then start to put in place the things that you need to have choice, but also have the control that enterprises need. Whether they're looking at VMware or other companies that provide CrossCloud services, start to have an architectural approach to multi-cloud. You say, okay, I'm using Azure because I have SQL Server workload. Great. I'm using Google for that ML. Okay, great. But now, how are you going to architect your infrastructure, your multi-cloud, so that you can actually life cycle manage and get all these applications in one way, so that you know how you deploy them, how you monitor them, how you rev them, how you manage the cost in a unified way across these. Otherwise, your cost is going to get out of control. And related to that, how you train your people around all this, so that they have the right skills to understand the problem and then deploy the right solution.
I love that when you mentioned about life cycle and getting people trained, right? Having the visibility, understand where you are at, and have the visibility to monitor progression. Those are really the key. But at the end of the day, as you mentioned, the consistent developer experience, consistent enterprise infrastructure, and frictionless employee experience are really the key, right? The desired outcome.
Yep.
Now, since you are running the CrossCloud services, could you share the 5 areas of focus you've really seen from CrossCloud service perspective?
Yes, VMware CrossCloud Services is a family of cloud-native services to build, manage, run, secure, and access any application across any cloud. And those are the 5 areas. First, you need to give developers and the platform engineering team a single place that they can build the application once and being able to deploy it across any Kubernetes environment out there and then be able to manage and secure it. So that's the first area. The second area is management. How do you create, the first CrossCloud services that allows the developers and platform team to work together with one environment, that's Tanzu. The second area is the product that we just launched at Explore called Aria, which is about cloud management. How do you create a single model that gives you visibility of your assets and application across any cloud so that then you can do management, lifecycle management, you can look at financial and how much it's costing you, and also feed your security team. The third area is how you run enterprise application. That's VMware Cloud. So we have, our customers have been trusting us to run their enterprise application for 20 years. Now we took that very environment and ported natively to all the hyperscalers, so you can run your enterprise application and migrate them to the cloud untouched and modernize them. The third area is security. How you provide a single pane of glass to be able to secure your microservices and VM applications across any cloud, and that's NSX and Carbon Black. And finally, the final piece, applications are only useful if you can expose them to customers and employees. And so that's where our Workspace ONE comes in as the fifth important leg of our CrossCloud services portfolio, to allow customers to access any applications across any cloud with great user experience and security.
That's phenomenal. Thank you for doing that. Here comes to my last question. What is your prediction for the future of multi-cloud in the next 3 to 5 years?
We believe that multi-cloud is the architecture for the next 10 years. And so as in the next 3 to 5 years, I think what is going to happen is more and more customers will transition from the cloud chaos stage to the cloud smart using VMware CrossCloud Services or other companies that are providing similar products. So I think we're going to go from being reactive and say, oh, the developers are there, let me catch up with them, to a world where people will say, hey, I have all these clouds at my disposal, and I'm going to select the right cloud in a smart way, depending on the need of my business and the application. And I think history repeats itself. We've seen this movie on-prem, where initially we had all these different servers, different operating system, different ways of doing things, and then virtualization made it all look the same, and that created the private cloud. I think in the multi-cloud, the emergence of these multi-cloud services will allow our customers to get to the next leg of cloud acceleration without incurring in the complexity and the cost.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today, Vittorio. Here's what I learned from our conversation. Being cloud smart means taking an architected and planned approach to multi-cloud. Cloud smart gives you the freedom to select the right cloud for the right app based on needs of individual app. At the end of the day, it's about driving consistent developer experience, consistent enterprise infrastructure, and seamless employee and customer experience. The best and fastest way to get cloud smart is to follow innovators and best practices. A unified multi-cloud management solution should be top of mind as you adopt a cloud-smart approach. We are thankful for VMware for delivering a full breadth of capability we need to become cloud-smart and win our digital race. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Stay hungry, stay bold, and stay grateful.